Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Trent and Zyori podcast. This is episode number 162. Today we're talking Dota 2. We've had some recent tournaments. The Dota Pit Omega League has begun. The qualifiers going into the qualifiers for Europe and some other general esports news. Trent, buddy, welcome back to the show. Every other Tuesday, I'm feeling regular.
We're keeping it alive, keeping the dream alive of the podcast here. So, it's another day. I just wrapped up some casting.
Yeah.
For the Omega League.
With Lyrical. How was that?
Fun. Good. We had 2 more awfully unbalanced games.
Okay.
And then I believe there's more Dota on right now as we're speaking of Great American Rivalry, which is the losers final of Crazy versus the 4 Zoomers. So,
oh, how nice.
Yeah, lots of fun Dota today for you guys to be keeping your eyes on. And
Crazy.
I guess that tournament's wrapping up, whereas the Omega League, it's just getting started. And that's going to be something that you guys will be watching for quite a while.
Yeah. Dota Pit, a very nice refresher. Finally, some Dota that was not completely one-sided. Unfortunately, the Great American Rivalry
Dota.
has turned out to really not be that much of a rivalry after all. It's just been a lot of, hey, there's 3 teams that are really good. So I guess probably the finals will be hype. Not that I want to hype that up too much since we're competing with them today. Whoopsie. But same with these opening rounds of Omega. And I guess we even got confused, and we were casting it of what the closed qualifiers were. There are a lot of stages to this, and these early stages have been filled with a lot of one-sided games. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
Omega
2-0s.
League is wild. So what you've probably been seeing lately on the WePlay channel, which will continue for a few more days, is the it's called the the closed qualifiers to the Immortal Division. And what they're all competing for over this week is the top 2 teams go straight to the Immortal Division, which is where they get to play against 10 of the invited teams, which are basically the 10 best teams in Europe. / CIS, including Evil Geniuses with a special surprise secret mid laner, which is yet to be revealed to the public.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Yes, I see you guys in chat. Yeah, Bot TI3 was announced. Don't worry, it's on the list. That just happened like half an hour ago. But yeah, so it's a humongous crew of talent. There are a lot of people who are working online.
Yes.
Including me and Zyori, and I've been casting with Lyrical, and you've probably been seeing. In fact, I'll just list them all. We got Bcop, Mofra, Nomad, 1437, Gareth, Zyori, Sunsfan, Synderen, Pycat, Peksu, Killer Pigeon, Lyrical, and Trent. Those are all just your online casters, people who are not currently in Ukraine. And then you've got all your other common figures: OD, Cap, Fog, Kyle, BSJ, Lacoste, Lizard, Jenkins, Effie, T-Gov, Tsunami are all going to be on site alongside 4 hosts of Rich, Banks, Sheaver, and Slacks. That is insane.
Yes. So all those people that you just listed off in the second half actually flying in on site in person. And I didn't believe this until I spoke to Slacks, and he told me, oh, no, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to Ukraine. It's like, wow.
I gave that one the big thumbs down. No travel for this guy. I'm surprised Jenkins is going. I guess I'm not that surprised because I can't go because of like the quarantine issues. Like I'm not going to quarantine for 2 weeks on returning here and isolate myself from my wife and kids. That would be brutal. After how long is this thing? A month that they're going to be there?
Yeah, it's I think it's 22 days.
Yeah,
22 days. So just over 3 weeks. Not necessarily every single day is a work day for every talent, but it's a long haul. You are committed. This is sort of like a mini dream league almost from a talent perspective.
Well, the grand finals are September 6th. So that's still a month away. And some of these people are there already. Like BSJ's already there.
Yes. Kyle's obviously there. Banks is there.
Yeah, it's insane.
So
truly insane.
Yeah, maybe not every single person will be there for the whole duration. Maybe some are in early and then some are coming in just for like the latter portions. That I don't know, but very exciting to see this giant crew on site for what is the prize pool again for Immortal? It's some crazy $500K. So it's a
huge.
This is bigger than your average tournament. So you kind of understand why they're putting so much into it from a coverage perspective because it's like 2x what most of the major level tournaments have been since the lockdown stuff started at the beginning of this year. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is a humongous sponsorship wherever the money is coming from.
My brain is spinning with like, I was not invited to work on site. I'm working remotely. And like, would I have gone if invited? Jeez, man. I don't know. If it's one of those things where you see the list, I feel like if I knew everyone else was going, I would feel dumb not going. You know, it's like, well, I guess if everyone else is confident, then fuck it. We're in it together. Worst case, we're getting quarantined together. I guess Slacks and I probably could have flown together and stuff like that. But when I spoke to Slacks, he said the flights were a mess. Like, I think he has to go to the East Coast early and stay there for almost 24 hours before he can get a connection to Europe, because there's no direct flights from Denver, like in terms of a connected flight with reasonable layovers. It's like a multi-step ordeal. That's crazy. Do you think everybody's going to be able to get in? Like, I hate to be like a negative Nancy. It seems ambitious, because I thought Americans, there was a travel ban for North Americans, especially USA, to get into Europe. And
I don't know.
Ukraine is technically not in the European Union, so maybe there's special rules in Ukraine, but I don't know of many. I've never been able to get to Ukraine without stopping in the EU first, if that makes sense. So you do have to cross a barrier there somewhere, and I'm just curious how that's going to work. Obviously, BSJ made it, so I guess they've got a goddamn plan.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. We play in Epic Esports events, the Omega League. Sponsored has 2 sponsors listed, Trent: Paramatch and Hovel.
It appears to be a car company from what I gathered.
Hovel.ru. Yes. Okay, it's cars. It's a brand of cars I've never heard of. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty shocked at this whole league, to be honest, and the number of talent that are going is mind blowing. So, very impressed.
This is some big budget shit, buddy.
This is a gargantuan budget shit. This is like, it literally looks like TI levels of budget.
And
that's what's so crazy about this. But mind you, they're not flying any teams. Very important. That saves you
actually a really good point.
Literally, like, it must be at least $1 million altogether. Lodgings
for something
flights.
This big. Like, how many teams are in the final round? Is it 12? All right, so it's not 16 at least, but still, yeah, you're right. That does. It's like
cool
It's twofold though, because they actually can sell tickets in Ukraine. They have an audience there, so you do save
but
on that.
What's the average cost of a ticket that you can get in Ukraine and fill out? Is it that high?
Well, I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
I guess I don't know. Yeah,
probably decent.
I mean, I don't know how large Havel is, but it looks like Haval. I don't know how the fuck you say this shit, but if it's like a massive car company in Russia, I mean, that Mercedes deal for ESL is easy 7 figures. It might even be bordering on 8 figures at this point, depending on how many more ESL One events they were planning on committing to. You know, they're giving away a car at every event. You got to figure that that's a pretty big fucking deal. So that mixed with Paramatch, a big-time betting sponsor. They've been supporting We Play for a while. Maybe they've got a pretty loyal betting base.
Maybe.
Those are 2 massive sponsors that actually could foot the bill for something like this. You know, it's an easy 7-figure budget for this event.
I think there's no real new people on the talent list other than Effie, who you guys have probably seen her stream before, or maybe you haven't. She's a high-rated Dota player from Jordan, I think. Yeah, that's from Jordan.
How it's listed on Wikipedia. I bumped into her at one of the TIs at an after party, but I didn't know who she was. I think I was talking to Sheep, and she came by and asked Sheep a question, and then fucked off real quick. And I said, "Who was that?" She said, "That's Effie." And I said, "Oh," and I pretended like I knew who that was because I wanted to be cool, but I didn't really. I assumed it was a streamer.
Yeah,
although
she's extremely quiet, at least from what I've ever seen of her streams. So
she
I'm
doesn't
very curious.
Stream anymore, I don't think. Like, I think she's kind of backed away from, like, she's not a full-time streamer or anymore.
No, I don't
think
she's ever been a full-time streamer. She's,
okay.
But
I think she's pretty high rated, like a 5 or 6K MMR player. Maybe I'm sort of guessing.
No,
but
definitely
in that range.
Pretty sure she was 6K at some point.
Yeah. I don't know what role or whatever, but Sheep told me that she is a very talented Dota player.
Yeah, she good.
Speaking of Sheep, by the way, did you see the thing that she posted?
I did.
Yeah, was it yesterday or day before?
Yeah.
It was yesterday.
Speaking of potential talent.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I guess the TLDR, for those that didn't see, we're talking about sheepsticked. She was at was it the Jungle Jam or Midas Mode? Midas Mode.
Midas Mode.
Yeah, she was at Midas Mode. She was our special guest. She streams quite a bit, sort of known for playing Meepo, although she wrote this little blog the other day talking about how 3 years ago she had this dream of trying to go pro, and I remember her telling me about that around that time. Maybe it was like TI6, something like that. And she basically said, I've wasted 3 years of my life, and I wasn't disciplined, and I hopped roles a lot, and I didn't really dedicate myself to training, and I couldn't resist the urge to spam Meepo every other game and get free MMR. And what was cool about it is she talked about this dynamic of just playing a pub stomping hero like Visage or Meepo or Brood. Yeah, you get really good at that hero, and you can kind of inflate your MMR, but it doesn't actually make you better at understanding the game or like the flow of the game and the broader strategy. And it was cool to see someone self-recognize that spamming a hero like that, while flashy, kind of held her back, and now she's been relearning, and gave a shout out to Bowie and Jenkins and a few other of the real grinders out there making analysis content. And it was pretty cool. And I guess she said that she's been improving, and she set like an MMR goal or target for the end of the year, and is going to keep on
now
grinding.
She's hit her all-time peak, I believe, in
like
terms
6.4
of
or something like that.
She's up to 6.5 now.
6.5. Oh,
yeah.
All right. There's been improvements.
Yeah. So I really like Sheep. I would be very happy if she made it to events. Ideally, as a talent, so I get to hang out with her more because we play Lost Smash. So
Yeah, that's true.
Would really, get Alex to as many events as possible, and I'm in. But obviously, I hope that she is able to accomplish that, because that'd be pretty cool to see someone really do that giant grind.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what the end point is, because what she described reminded me somewhat of conversations I had with Jenkins just over the last year or two, of his quest to sort of play somewhat competitively. And, he was in that kind of Excalibur type situation where you play in a lot of qualifiers, you take games off good teams, you feel like you're making some progress, but your teams are unstable, they fall apart really quick. And when you look back, it's like, man, I've been treading water for 2 years. This is tough. So he's been really all in on the content
He's just the
side.
stage below that. That's what her future is.
Right. So that's what scares me is, talking to
true.
someone who's another step down the road there. It's still a really tough grind. And, I don't know what that endpoint is, but I hope it works out for her. And I think she definitely could be in the content realm. I mean, I casted with her, was it the last Dream League online thing? Was it 6 months ago or 8 months ago or
something
10
like
months ago now? It's been a while. And it was okay. I mean, obviously, she's not like a natural caster, but I think she could grow into it if she wanted to. But I got the vibe that I've gotten from some of the other pro players that have reached out. It's like, do you want to do this, or is this your backup plan? Because if it's your backup plan, I think the casting life is going to be pretty hard. You have to really kind of want it and embrace it. Like Kyle's an example of someone who I think learned to love it and really embraced it. And now I don't think he dreams about going back to being a player. I'm guessing there, but I get the vibe that he's pretty happy as talent. But that's a hard transition. I remember talking to Fogged at the beginning, and you could tell there was some of that coach syndrome of,
oh, he still has it.
Yeah, I'm watching the guys on the field, and I'm really happy for him, but goddamn, it'd kind of be cool to be on the field. Yeah, I'm still, and that's just, it's very natural. But I think that holds a lot of people that could potentially be really good casters back, because it's just kind of boring. Playing is more satisfying.
I've been casting some tier 2 Dota with Fogg before, and I've heard him say, like, God, I know I could play on this team. Like, I'm better than that guy in that team right there, and that guy's like winning some like decent prize pool in some online tourney, and he's just like, oh God, that annoys me.
Yeah.
Like, good on you, Fogg. Keep it up.
It's totally natural, and that's something like I can't really imagine, because that's never been an option for me. I love talking about it. That's more than satisfying for my little peanut brain relative to these top tier players. So anyway, nice positive message to Sheep. Shout out to her. I hope she meets whatever her goals are, and I hope she does it on stream so we get to watch and celebrate when she hits it. I guess, is that part of the plan? Is she streaming
I think
this grind?
So. I'm not sure
partially?
how dedicated this stream is. That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't know if that was mentioned in the thing. I don't think it really was alluded to, but I mean, she's still been streaming, so
I mean, fair enough.
I assume it'll still happen. Yeah.
It's hard to do both. It really is. Streaming is this unique, I mean, even just playing Dota in like my shitty ranked games, it is different when you know more people are watching compared to.
I can't look at chat when I play. I'm not good enough. Because I know anyone's gonna play worse when they're trying to read chat and stuff. Even the best players, like you imagine like Gork or someone, he's gonna play better if he's not streaming, 100%. But at like the capacity that I need to play Dota at my peak, I just can't look at chat, or I play so much worse.
Yeah.
Like I'm just terrible.
I've never actually clocked it. Like I don't know if it's just confirmation bias, but I do feel like there are a lot of times where I'll stream and play maybe 6 games, and go negative. Like let's say I win 2, then lose 4 in a row. I'll stop streaming, get up, go eat, walk around, and then play 2 more games before bed and win both of them. And it always makes me wonder, like, did I actually, like, is this just luck, or did I start to play better because I took a break and there's nobody watching and I'm just, not in my own head, not thinking about, is my mic okay? Are they making fun of me? So I think there is some merit to that. If you really want to train optimal practice conditions, probably best not to be streaming it.
All right. Well, that was a nice diversion from what we were talking about. So Omega League, what I wanted to talk about in terms of this thing is that you and I cast a lot of these close qualifier games, and they have been pretty bad to watch. And I was not expecting that. I thought it was going to be interesting because I looked at these teams and I thought, wow, these are largely teams on the same level, I'm pretty sure. Like, sure, there's a couple standouts like Viking GG, maybe Hellraisers too. Unique have been playing fairly well, and Empire kind of, but like, even if you have half the teams looking good, I kind of thought like the bottom half would be a little bit more even. So what ended up happening was the league started, it was all 2-0s. I'm like, okay, well, that's seeded matchups, good versus bad.
Right. And it is GSL. It's GSL groups, right? So the seeding actually does make a big difference. And I agree. I think the seeding was pretty good, which will lead to a lot of early round blowouts. That's kind of the point.
And I can take that.
Yeah.
But now we've reached the losers matches. And all 4 of the losers matches were also total boring blowouts.
Oh, God. You're right.
And they were bad, man. They were really bad.
Not a single game went over 50 minutes. I can tell you that for sure. And it looks like most of them were a good bit shorter, like 29 minutes, 35 minutes when the throne explodes. That's pretty rough.
And I mean, we're talking games that were over seriously like 8 minutes several times.
Oof.
Like, there was a game today with a Sand King and an Anti-Mage. And the Anti-Mage, like, you looked at the game, you go, wow, if this Anti-Mage is going to have a perfect lane and they have no way to kill him. And that was just the whole game. Like, the game was actually over from like minute 2 because he just had a good lane, and that was it. That's all they had to do.
I mean, it's a cliche thing to say, but it really does kind of feel like you're just casting pubs. Remember, was it yesterday or the day before when I played that Dazzle 4 game and I won in whatever it was 23 minutes? You're like, man, that was really free game.
Same game.
And like, it's weird to watch that and then experience it. And it's like, this isn't even Dota. I don't feel like I did anything. I'm playing position 4 Dazzle. I had 3 items at 15 minutes. It's like, this makes no sense. This isn't how this is supposed to work. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing an anti-mage able to team fight and wipe them at 19 minutes because he's so stacked and overfed.
So now, here comes my problem. This was the closed qualifier, and it's essentially the direct tier of players below the tier 1. So guys, if I can just bear with me for a second here, this was essentially the minor regional league that we're watching right now. This is pretty much exactly what the DPC of Europe would look like if you had a minor league. It would pretty much be all these teams, right?
So this is like 9 through 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to get. And I've been thinking that minor leagues are going to be kind of exciting, especially Europe, because you think like, oh yeah, it's going to be some like decent competition outside those tier 1 teams. I don't care what tier of Dota you're watching. It is still so boring when it's one-sided. And it's like so one-sided like this over and over and over again that the viewership's been pretty bad. I don't think it's been over 5K.
Okay, so for reference right now, I just had it open somewhere because as you said, the finals are on right now. Is it the finals or is it lower bracket finals of the Great American
Rivalry?
The lower
bracket final. Yeah.
And it's 2 American teams. What is it here?
Crazy Zoomers.
And they've got what, 3K viewers?
What, for America's? No, America's has got 7,700.
Okay. All right.
That's good viewership.
I was on an old refresh. Yeah, you're right. It's gone up. All right, 7.6K. That is good for North American standards right now.
Yeah.
What have we been averaging for Omega? Like 3 to 5K? I think I saw it
mostly 3.
I think I saw it at 6 today when VSJ and Kyle were in the studio. Like
Oh, was it?
5,
Oh,
and maybe
good.
it was up to 5 when you and Lyrical were casting. At least when I popped on the draft.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad throughout most of the week though.
But you're
And I
right.
don't blame them.
No, but you're right that there's this weird dynamic that it's not just specifically in that region. And historically, if you look back, like you and I have cast a lot of shitty qualifier games, especially think like TI hubs in some of those early rounds. You're casting these C qualifiers and it's all these blowouts. By the end of that open bracket, the games are still pretty close. It's not polished, high quality Dota, but the teams are pretty well matched relative to each other. The fact that it's tier 2 by nature doesn't mean that the games are just inherently boring. Right now, there seems to be this trend that all the tier 2 Dota we've been watching in NA, SA, EU, and CIS, it seems like it's just blowout central, that the games flop within 15 minutes, sometimes even worse, 10 minutes, and it's just over. And yeah, like if at 30 minutes, you know exactly who's going to win. Almost, I would say like 90% of the time. It's very strange. So what is it? What's the big factor at play here causing this phenomenon?
Well, it's a couple things. I don't want to be a total, doomsayer about like the potential of the DPC league because there are some things that are happening. Like, first off, these are not like teams that are expecting to stay together. They're probably not that well practiced. They probably don't even have a lot of strats together. Whereas if there was a DPC league, they probably would have been grinding a little bit more. So I would hope that there would be a little bit more of an even playing field between these lower teams. And then again, we've also just got through the losers round. So we've now scraped out the absolute bottom of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 teams are just done. They go to the last chance group, in fact.
Oh, great. That's good.
So yes, don't worry. You'll get to see them again tomorrow. But then we'll move on to the winners matches and the deciders matches. And hopefully that's where we're actually going to get our competitive games. But it's not the best sign, I got to say. I had very high expectations for this this group stage. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun seeing what teams come out on top and seeing if there could be upsets, but it's not really looking that way.
Yeah. Definitely not. And this next phase, I guess, could be a little bit better. But it's really the final phase. And that's where it's going to get good because we just saw some of these teams in Dota Pit, and it was really exciting. This Alliance team has been really fun to watch. Obviously, OG has something to prove after talking a big game with Seb coming back. You've got Nigma mixed in there, and I think Kuroki will be playing instead of RMN, so that's quite exciting. Who else do we have? Na'Vi, the Team Liquid squad, they've also been looking good from what I remember. Virtus Pro, Team Secret will be back, and we'll get to see Evil Geniuses finally. This team will be
Abed
playing
still can't play.
Close to full form. Yeah, I guess Abed's still stuck in C, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right.
We don't know who's going to replace Crit, because Crit's been standing in for NIP, but now he's going to be playing for EG. So now NIP is going to have some surprise 5, too.
Yeah, no idea about that one.
So some mysteries, but yes, very much looking forward to that tournament moving forward. So
a lot of time before that. We might even have another podcast before the.
Oh, we will. Yeah, the tournament is still quite far away.
I don't even know what that's called. The Immortal round, closed qualifiers.
We have the Divine round
before that, right?
Oh, and so we play the closed qualifiers. Then we do the. I think there's like a first phase of Immortal, and then.
Yeah. And then it's
teams that lose out of that drop down to Divine, and then we have like a couple weeks where they play the Divine thing, and then we come back to Immortal. I believe.
Oh,
it's a little confusing.
It is. Liquipedia is not set up for that. They're like, Jesus Christ, what is this format?
Like, what are you guys doing?
We need some like extra links in here or something. Jeez. But one of the things that you mentioned earlier on that I want to circle back to is very cool that they're integrating this really diverse talent pool. I mean, right now, not just the people on site, but also remote casters. Is there anyone that's been left out? Like this is basically everyone who is actively casting right now. Sure, there's like Blitz is coaching, so he doesn't quite count. You know, there's some other examples like that. But
like Gods and LD are kind of busy working on projects that.
Gods
BTS right now.
That's fair. I feel like a jerk. Gods and LD are both missing.
But I'm pretty sure obviously they surely could. I think BTS is all just doing BTS things.
They're working BTS IP. But talk about inclusivity, buddy. That
is nice. It's not just like 4 people doing the whole offsite stuff.
Yeah, this checks a lot of boxes, and we've even got some pro players now that are starting to dip their toe in for casting. right? 1437. He's had a history with some casting, and now I think he's diving in and working with Nomad. Obviously, Suns fan Cinderin. Who is Gareth casting with?
I don't know if he's gotten a game yet because he had to get rescheduled, but he was doing Pexu and I think some PyCat. But
Okay.
I think he was mostly going to be partnered with Pexu.
I see. Yeah, because Pexu and PyCat have been casting. One of them is casting with Killer Pigeon, I think. And then Lyrical
Mostly Pexu, yeah.
and I.
Or sorry, mostly PyCat.
Yeah. Lyrical and I, per usual, are doing our casting triangle with Trent.
You know me.
We're the trio that keeps on giving, buddy. We need to find a way to make the Zyori Lyrical cast work. And honestly, for some of these blowout games, having two play-by-play casters is actually better. Because what is your job as the analyst? By 10 minutes, you become Mr. color commentator. You got to be a comedian for 10 minutes after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know? And not on here yet, but will be added. I'm going to be casting some games with Draskell as well. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think Trent hit his union limit of the amount of matches that they could give one man because so many people requested to cast with him. So I was asked to find someone else if I wanted to keep casting, and old Draskell the Rascal. He's been streaming a lot, hasn't been casting so much, and he's going to be joining us for Omega. So I'm taking the announcement right here. This is a Trent and Zyori exclusive. Draskell will be casting on the Omega League.
Wow. Not even on Liquipedia yet. Look at you go, man.
Oh, ahead of the curve, buddy. I'm stoked, though. I like casting with Andy. It's the Andy and Andy cast.
Especially when he's been pubbing a lot, which he has been. So
Hell
you'll get all kinds of the salt.
Casting with Draskell's fun because it's a balance of trying to pump him up and get him hype, but then also reeling him in when people fuck up because he really likes to hammer the mistakes.
He really torches the flamethrower.
It's a lot of fun. I like it. You have to help him wield the flamethrower so you don't run out of gas too quick. I'm looking forward to it though. So shout out to WePlay. So far, it's been pretty fun. And talk about that set, dude. I mean, that shit, we would be remiss if we didn't mention it.
Yes, very good point. I mean, WePlay obviously been going kind of in on the set. Same thing with Epic, too, as the other partner, right? That's also the epicenter thing. So probably a little bit of collaboration there, maybe, to make that set look so gorgeous. But damn, it looks good.
Yeah, they've got, and a lot of it is real and physical. It's not like AR or something. That Mars is in an actual sculpture of some sort. I imagine it's not actually like anything heavy. It's probably paper mache
quality
or some
foam,
shit.
dude.
Yeah, but
it's looking good.
Looks pretty cool. Folks in the Discord were arguing about it. They're like, I think you're really overvaluing how much it would cost to make that. I'm like, it's still impressive. They made a life-size Mars that looks fucking good. You know, when they made that mock Tesla, do you remember that shit at the last WePlay event? That's one of those, even if it was just a cosmetic shell and somebody has put it together, it was strikingly accurate. I don't know. It looked really good. It passed the visual gut check of, okay, this is cool. This makes Reddit. So I appreciate that. As I don't know, the set design is something that is easy to not put a lot of tender loving care into, but it definitely pays some dividends, and it is not as easy as it looks.
It's really necessary for a tournament like this too, where it's gonna be super long and have a lot of online casting and also online players, right? So you're not gonna have any of the camera shots for the players coming in and all that stuff, and gotta up the ante a little bit.
It's a page out of the Moonduck playbook, Trent. Have a theme and make a cool set. Those are two key pieces to meme success.
Well, they're getting it done.
They're getting it done, buddy.
The next tournament after that will be kind of concluding around the same time. Is going to be ESL One Thailand.
Oh,
which has a American and Asian division, so that should be good. So America's is like pretty much all the American teams, and Asia is not announced. They haven't announced any of the invited teams, so I actually don't know for sure what that's going to look like. I don't know if that means it's mostly China or if that means it's mostly C. It looks like there's a Chinese open qualifier and a C open qualifier, so it's probably going to be a mix of both, which should be cool.
So when is the actual LAN?
The LAN, quote unquote?
Yeah. Or is it all just regional? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is ESL One Thailand 2020 Asia, 135K prize pool. Is this the main event?
Yeah, that's the Asia version, and then you have the US version. So like the US version, the prize pool is 65K. For the Asian one, it's 130 or whatever.
Okay, so wait, that's why I was confused. So why is it called Thailand 2020 Americas? What does it have to do with Thailand?
Nothing. It's just
nothing.
using the theme of Thailand. Like they were probably gonna have a land in Thailand.
Okay, so they're just trying to emulate as close to as they can to, hey, we're doing a tournament, but
I think they
now
have a
it's
Thai
online.
qualifier specifically. I'm guessing too. That's usually a thing. They had ESL Thailand Champ 2020, so they have like a full Thai tournament that's being played out.
Okay, I see.
And so yeah, so it kind of takes like from that host nation in that sense, which is pretty
right.
cool. And then I expect a lot of shots of Thailand and all that kind of stuff.
So this is cool though. So it's all the usual sponsors for ESL, Mercedes, Intel, Mountain Dew, AMP, DHL. I'm sure Slacks will be working this event, but also Thailand's Ministry of Tourism and Sports and the Sports Authority of Thailand. So
Well,
that's
there's our answer.
very exciting. Regional Thailand. So does this mean, let's think about this for a second, Trent, because it is now August. We had a tentative DPC schedule. Does that mean that ESL had this event scheduled? Like, was this going to be a stop on the DPC circuit? Was our first major going to be Thailand? Is that what we should deduce from this? Or is ESL
No, because it's only August 20th or whatever, right? So.
Well, maybe they changed it. Maybe they moved it up.
Oh, I guess.
Or is
Yeah,
this
I have
just
no idea.
because, I mean, this is part of, remember we were talking about, this is part of that date range that has always been off limits. Like, no one has ever tried to schedule an event during August because every year for a decade, this is when TI has been blackout dates. So it makes me wonder, did ESL just put this together to fill that gap? Or was this part of a DPC plan
They might have had, if I had to guess, they were probably going to have an actual event in Thailand. It's probably not happening because of COVID.
But then they can move it up and whatever.
And then they just moved it up a little bit and are
Seize
still
the
trying
day.
to create an event that is still sponsored using Thailand money and stuff of like promoting Thailand.
I see.
That would be my guess, but I don't actually know.
I mean, honestly, it still makes sense because when we did our minor, one of the things with Events DC, I think I've talked about this before, but they actually liked that we had a Chinese audience that wanted to watch the event because they wanted to market Washington, D.C. as a tourist destination, and China is a huge market for tourism.
Yeah, massive.
So it doesn't really matter in some ways if the event is physically there or not. If you're still doing an event that's sponsored and kind of funded partially by tourism in a destination, you can still go on site, film all the shit, and then just do the event with all the really cool footage and still make Thailand look awesome.
That's definitely what I'm expecting. I think there's going to be a ton of sweet B-roll like they usually have.
Yeah. So it makes sense that you could still do this online and still hype up Thailand, and then whenever you can do events again, just fucking do it. That's cool.
But,
I want to see more Thai and Dota. Finally, the end of Heroes of New Earth, Trent. That is the last demographic keeping that fucking game alive. Let's get Dota 2 in Thailand. Let's do it, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be good.
Out with the old, in with the new.
So yeah, that's after Omega League, and then then after that will be BOTI around the same time, right?
I think
in
so.
September. So BOTI, I mean, you guys know what to expect. They changed some of the stuff. Level 30, live matches. They won't be replays anymore.
Whoa, the technology, big
Yep.
advances. Okay, all right, that's hype. That's hype. Bot TI, what a genius idea, especially during a lockdown. What could be better?
Good point.
Name something more appropriate, buddy.
Yeah, they are in desperate need. I hope that I can be a part of it from online.
Yeah,
I have been before, so fingers crossed. I really like doing bot TI. It's always a fun time. But they might be able to field the full. I guess actually depends on when everyone gets back from from WePlay. What did they announce actual dates or just September?
Not sure.
I have to check. I've forgotten already.
If there were actual dates, I didn't digest them because they were far enough away that I figured there'd be another reminder coming up. Thailand.
I think it just said September. Like skipping through the video.
Another place I'd like to visit, though. I've never been to Thailand.
On the list.
On the list for sure, man. Cyclops is there.
Party time. How far away is Roland from Thailand? Is that close?
Oh, it's not. Well,
I forget where his island is. It's near Malaysia, right?
Borneo. It's part of Malaysia. It's probably not that far. It's like a couple-hour plane ride. It's in the region, let's say. And I guess this reminds me, since we're talking about tourism and marketing for a specific area, we just got a taste of that in League of Legends, our counterpart over there. I saw it all over
geez.
the esports subreddit. I don't know if you saw this headline, buddy, but
I might have caught the news. I think everyone did.
LEC working with an organization called NEOM, which stands for, what does it stand for, actually? I can't remember. Shoot, I had it open.
Isn't it like the name of the thing?
It's the name of the organization, but it has a specific acronym. But I guess the TLDR on the drama is that the big League of Legends, is LEC the European Championship? Yeah,
I think it's the European League or whatever, right? Like
partnered with this organization called NEOM, NEOM, and it's an organization that is basically Saudi Arabian money. And there is a huge backlash in terms of, I guess, endorsing
isn't
Saudi
it like
Arabia.
they're building basically giant like futuristic communities in Saudi Arabia? Isn't that the whole point? It's like government-funded Saudi Arabia.
I think so. Yeah, that's
what
it.
I understand.
So I had the article open, then I closed it by accident. It's a Saudi Arabian state-sponsored city development. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You had it right on the nose there. So a very weird sponsorship. And it lasted for a day or two or something like that. And then LEC just ended it because of the giant backlash. And I think some of their staff even like walked out or threatened to walk out or something like that.
The entire talent pool said that they won't do it if that's the sponsor.
Yeah.
Like it would be the equivalent of like every TI caster being like, no, we're not doing this.
It's a pretty interesting concept. Like, I'm trying to think about this in Dota because didn't we have a giant charity event that was sponsored by Saudi Arabian money? Was that didn't we have one not that long ago? Am I crazy? I know I didn't work it.
Yeah, the Gamers Without Borders, right?
I think that was it. Gamers Without Borders. I'm gonna Google it. I didn't come prepared.
Yeah, it was the same thing, basically.
That was it. Gamers Without Borders 2020. That was the 1.5 million USD tournament. And if you look at the logo here, I'll link it in chat for easy tracking here. If you look at the logo, it says Gamers Without Borders by Saudi.
Yeah.
So it's actually in the title. It was omitted from a lot of the title branding in text, but it's in all the graphics. And the talent pool was Toby Lacoste, Cap, Jenkins, Ari Neiman, and then their guest hosts were Bulldog, Purian Flax, Shane, and Gork. It was
they basically paid those four to stream the games as well. So it was a lot of money.
Yes, and I'm sure for the talent,
thing.
it was probably stupid money. It was probably.
I'm sure. I hope they asked for big rates.
And it peaked at pretty high viewership too, 167K viewers.
Yeah, the viewership was good. It was all the best teams,
across all the
and
streams.
it was when we hadn't seen anyone in a while too.
Yeah, I mean, 1.5 mil is big money. It was Liquid, OG, Secret, Nigma, Alliance, NIP, Virtus Pro, Navi. So not that long ago, 3 months ago. And it's pretty similar, right? The whole angle here is it's oil money from Saudi Arabia, and they are trying to
But this one was for charity.
To buy branding. Yeah, there's a term for this, and I forget what the actual word is. I remember reading it on Reddit, and it's eluding my memory. But it's when you use the veil of charity to make yourself look good, and it's really to market something they're trying to show the world that Saudi Arabia is with the times and not. I don't know how careful I should be with this because I'm not going to lie. I have talked to people in Saudi about doing Dota events there, and every time I've talked about it, it's gotten weird. Where it sounds cool, and then we get to this point where they say, "All right, man, now listen, we're gonna have to like." Do some marketing for Saudi Arabia and whatever they call their supreme prince. I don't want to sound offensive. I don't know what the proper term is, but it's like a 4 or 5 word title that you have to use. And they're like, they want to prove that Saudi Arabia is a good place for women's rights and that women have it really good here. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that.
I don't think I can say that.
And we've obviously never gone through with it, and I've thought about it a few times, and the money is there, but it gives me the willies, and it scares me to talk about a little bit because that's the kind of shit that they'll, it's a little scary to visit there. I think you need like a vouch and you need somebody to kind of take care of you. And you gotta like, I think there are checkpoints you got to hand that passport over. And that scares me a little. So I don't know. Yeah. I have mixed feelings about it. And I don't know how to feel about the League community standing up to it and the Dota community embracing it. I remember a lot of positive threads around this event, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember much.
No, there was definitely some. There were negative threads too.
There were?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
there was
but
there
then
was
most
some
of it was
cynicism.
met with like, well, it's for charity money anyway, and we all know who they are, so fuck it, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also some merit to that discussion. It was a lot of money for charity.
I mean, that is true. There's something to that, I guess. So maybe that is a big differentiator of the Dota event. The money goes somewhere else relative to, this LEC thing was a little bit more of a corporate kind of traditional sponsorship, I suppose. But
yeah, it was a bit crazy because that's a giant sponsorship, right? That was like,
yeah,
that's their big sponsorship the entire year, is because that's their huge league, right? So kind of wild. Good for them for standing up for that though, as a talent pool.
Yeah,
impressive.
I think so too. Like that whole experience and reading about this has definitely made me think about the, how much does everything have its price? Like how much do you value you selling out for things that you believe in? Like part of the job is doing sponsor reads for products that most of the time you're neutral about. It's like, I've never tried this beer. I don't care either way. I assume it doesn't suck, and that's why they're spending money on marketing, whatever. But with something like this, it's like, for example, would we be okay if an unethical betting company came to Moonduck and said, hey, whatever your offer is from Betway, we'll double it for the same deal. Same deliverables, we'll double the payout. But we know that they take underage gambling and that they do some other unethical behavior to fuck over their consumers. It's like, I don't think I'd do it. I think I'd take half the money, but go with Betway and know that it's safe and that they're ethical and reputable and that they take that shit seriously and they do everything by the book.
I mean, what if this is a good example? Because like for China, right? For TI9, and if you're a TI9, like China was announced, and that was announced at a time where there wasn't really anything happening. There wasn't really a lot of big common knowledge about the Uyghurs, or Hong Kong hadn't started yet. Like this is back literally at TI8, right? And then as the year goes on, suddenly we're a couple months away from TI, and the Hong Kong stuff starts. It was like I want to say like 2 months before or a month before or something. And now we've, of course, reached into a whole new phase where the Uyghur stuff's becoming even more and more publicized and discussed, and Hong Kong's looking to get worse and worse. What have they announced that the next TI's in China again? Like, on the one hand, it's a significant portion of the income of a Dota 2 personality. I would never fault anyone for doing it because, frankly, you need to like, keep your life going, right? Like, you need the money. But it's also just like, man, I don't know. Like now, because now League also just announced that they're doing their next 2 Worlds in China. I did notice that as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is a very tough discussion.
And all this stuff is getting more and more relevant with TikTok, right? There's now talk of banning TikTok, and it's kind of started in India where they banned like 100 apps that were from China that were doing things in terms of collecting data and spying on people that India didn't like, so they got rid of them. And then we're talking about banning TikTok in America. And now Microsoft is talking about buying TikTok as part of some scheme to, change the way it does stuff and keep it relevant in North America. It's kind of a mess. And it is really weird to try to decide as talent. It's like a personal choice as talent, right? Where do you draw the line of a lot of the work is you forcefully have to remain apolitical. And that's kind of part of the work to a degree, but that doesn't mean everything is apolitical. And, like I think the Saudi stuff is probably an example of stuff that feels like, this is political, unethical, and it's all in that realm. And I, knowing what I know, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to go there. I don't want to endorse this and have to sell out for it.
Yeah, that one's kind of easy at the same time too, because it's like just a flat out sponsorship. Whereas if you compare it to something like TI being in China, like there are millions of people in China that they don't have a choice as to what their life is, and they just want to enjoy Dota, and they're giant Dota fans too. They're just like me and you. You know what I mean?
And it's also weighted by it being, like the super major or TI. It's like such a big thing. It's like for me as talent, how much does this fuck me up if I get invited and say, sorry, Valve, I'm taking a stand against China. Like, all right, see you later, crazy guy. We're going to hire the next person in line then. And that's it. You don't get a second chance. That's not how it works. You gotta You got to ride the wave. So, yeah, I don't know, buddy.
I mean, that's again, it's yet individual stuff and extremely complicated. But I was surprised at how fast Riot changed. It was like within 24 hours. Now the question is, if you're willing to change within 24 hours, who the fuck stamped that approval?
Nah.
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then they put out some statement too, where it was like, I can't remember what it was.
It's also somewhat relevant because Dota Pit was sponsored by TikTok. We didn't have to do any reads for it, but that logo popped up and it was on the shit. TikTok has been, I don't know, man. It seems like a little bit of a transparent strategy. The Huawei thing is the exact same sphere to me, where it's like, why are they so cheap and actually good electronics? It's the Google model. Hey, if we make email really good and free, then people are going to be okay giving us their data because our service works so well. Hey, if we give them a really good phone at a really good price point, everyone's going to want it and they're going to tell their friends, and these stupid fucking Americans are so capitalistic that they'll buy the cheapest thing that they can find, and then we'll take all of their data through the back door. It's a very simple strategy. They're just looking for mass adoption because they're not trying to make profit on the phones. They're profiting off of the data going to the Chinese government. That freaks me out a little bit. I don't know how much of that gets into conspiracy theory. You know,
relationship with Huawei. It's actually kind of funny. They were in our good graces because they sponsored Hockey Night in Canada, and then we had some problems with one of their execs trying to leave the country.
Oh yeah, I think I saw a headline about that.
Oh yeah, that shit's still going on.
Wow, that's nutso.
Yep.
Can you buy? Are Huawei phones banned in North America? Can you even buy them anymore? I don't think you can. God, I can't remember. I feel so out of it. I've had an iPhone for so long that I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure you can still buy them. They're trying to extradite here to the US. Because we have the CFO right now.
Oh.
And she's on a warrant from the US because she misled the bank HSBC about Huawei's business dealings in Iran. She's been on house arrest in Vancouver since then, fighting extradition, and says she's innocent.
So, all right, I found the headline, buddy. This is from May 13th, 2020. It says Donald Trump extends Huawei ban through May 2021. So he did issue an executive order banning U.S. companies from working with or buying telecommunications equipment from companies deemed a national security risk until May 2021. And Huawei was on that list with a bunch of other Chinese companies. Now, this is interesting because I don't really know exactly what executive orders are in America, because they're like these things that presidents can do that circumvent the whole process. But it's not like a law or like a real thing. It's kind of just like an emergency presidential decree of everyone, executive order, this shit's really important. It's kind of like a presidential memo. He's sending a memo to the whole country. And I don't know that, like, what happens if you break the executive order? I'm not sure. I don't know that it's really that enforceable.
Is he gonna call you up?
I'm gonna Google it. What is an executive order? I'm curious what the actual definition is, because I've been struggling to understand how it works. Because that's one of those things that Trump gave Obama a lot of shit for, was that he used executive orders to do stuff, and now Trump has used them to do all this ridiculous shit. It means issuing federal directives in the United States by the President of the United States that manages operations of the federal government. Okay, so yeah, I think it's a federal directive, Trent. It's kind of like a, hey guys, I just tweeted something, so you should read it.
Okay, cool.
Welcome to America, buddy. So
what else was on my list here?
Anyway, yeah, it's going to be an ongoing battle, is what I'm getting at, though. And as people with voices, as influencers, and as people who are going to have to make decisions about working events with sponsors, right? Like, should you and I have had a discussion about working this Dota Pit with TikTok as a sponsor? Is it bad of us that we didn't even think twice about it because we didn't have to do a read, but we just passively endorsed TikTok to a whole fuckload of people last week? Are you okay with that, China man?
I mean, the way I put it is like, I guess I don't know how to say it. I'm surprised if anyone doesn't know what TikTok's doing. You should have known for the past year. So I don't really feel that bad, to be honest. Like, if they're giving money, I don't think it's like it's not like I hold some secret about TikTok that, guys, they're stealing info. I had to tell you.
Right.
Like, dude, how do you not know? This has been public knowledge for over a year. right?
Yeah. I don't know. There's like a degree of shit too. You know, I think like to me, there's a big difference between passive branding and hey, we want you to look in the camera and say that this.
Oh
thing's
yeah, if
cool.
you made me be like, okay, and don't forget to download TikTok. Yeah, I would not do that.
Yeah. So
I would give a big fat no to that.
I kind of agree. I think there is a line there, and maybe that's somewhat arbitrary from an audience perspective, but I definitely see a difference there from my broadcast voice because it's not my event. You know, if something comes out and for whatever reason that sponsorship becomes a PR liability, as a contractor, you can pretty easily pass the buck to, yeah, I just did whatever they told me. I don't know. That's not my shit. But you're still endorsing it. That's part of why they're paying you, is to leverage your voice to you know, promote their shit. But anyway, all that is just to say, I think it'll be an ongoing discussion that'll become more and more relevant in our space because we've got that juicy demographic and more of these kind of whatever you want to call it. Maybe not shady sponsors, but large money, somewhat ethically questionable sponsors. It's going to be tempting, right?
It's interesting how money can't actually buy you anything, or like it could not buy that sponsorship of LEC.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think there's a big enough amount. It's like it's just not worth it. It's going to ruin our whole league. We need our talent. And it is the power of unionizing. Dota, take note. The power of banding together, right? That is one of the cool things about what we saw at LEC. If actually all of the talent come together and put their foot down and say, hey, this is a demand for us, you actually have a pretty good amount of leverage. They can't do the show without you.
It is true. And that could happen in Dota too. So
you never know.
The last thing was let me see here.
Battle Pass stuff?
Yes, the Battle Pass.
What are we up to? It's funny that you mentioned I've been opening the Dota client. I don't even look at it. I just look past the number. What is the prize pool up to?
31 million. It's over now.
Hey, all right.
Isn't nitrate used in fireworks? Sorry, there's a discussion. I noticed that obviously there's a huge explosion in Beirut right now. And the videos coming out are unbelievable. And I saw the first news reports were saying it had something to do with a fireworks warehouse. And now apparently they're saying it was a nitrate storage explosion. But is nitrate the stuff for fertilizer? Or is it straight up just TNT?
That's a good question.
Nitrates are common components of fertilizers and explosives. So
yeah, I think that's the thing of like homemade bombs use fertilizer because of the nitrate.
It was confiscated from a ship in the past. Whoa. Fire into it. Damn.
Dietary nitrates. They use it for cured meats.
Ammonium nitrate was salvaged from a sinking ship about 12 years ago and stored at Hangar 12. That's what apparently there's one leak claiming.
Wow.
Can you imagine? God, that would be terrible if that was the truth.
That's insane.
But yeah, it is a humongous explosion.
I saw the footage this morning. It was pretty mind-blowing. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, so anyway, the TI prize pool, 31 million. And we are still missing a lot of stuff. That is insane. So think about that, guys.
This is my favorite graph to visualize. I think this is made by Cyborg Matt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
The Dota 2 prize tracker tool.
I haven't even looked at that this year.
Because this shows you it's a little slow now because there's so much fucking data in it. But it shows you the historical across the past TIs and how they all are relative to this day since the Battle Pass dropped. So as you can see, we are way ahead. TI-10 this phase, or at least, well, we had an early peak. I guess we had the cash a little earlier. But we are still ahead of the mark. So all sources indicate we are going to break the prize pool. It's going to happen again, buddy.
I wonder why they didn't delay the bundle till later. I feel like they needed more stuff out with the bundle. I didn't buy the bundle this year because I was like, I'm just not confident enough in the rest of these products.
I didn't buy the bundle either.
Maybe that's a good thing because now maybe the Arcana is so good I'm gonna want it even without the bundles.
Maybe I just feel like this was the first year I could actually feel the stretch of all the things that I'm used to. Like I feel like I spent more than I planned on spending. And I've unlocked a lot of shit, and it's just I don't want to buy more. There's probably a term for this. Like I'm full, you know. Even if the really cool shit down the line is really cool, I have a limit to how much I want to spend on the Battle Pass, and I think I've already passed it. I'm like level 300 for for reference. So I'm not that high, but
wow, you're already 300. I mean, that's more than me. I got the 100, and that's it. I've just been playing since then.
yeah,
haven't
I think I bought
put
up
any
to
money
like
in.
250 or something around there. So this battle pass has felt like it has some really cool stuff. So I don't want to say it doesn't feel like value, but it does feel like there are some pretty big level gaps, and it's very clearly designed to min-max you monetarily, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's very apparent, if that's fair to say.
I mean, this Wind Ranger Arcana is going to be fucking gold for me to go for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I'm out. I think I just can't justify it.
It's a lot.
You know what? Also, I noticed that people talked about how it doesn't say exclusive on the Arcanas anymore. And that made me not want to buy it.
Because you know that, like, I mean,
It makes me like, why did they put it very specifically every other time, and these ones don't have exclusive? Makes me think that they're gonna resell them in like a year or two.
I agree. I had the same thought, and it's a weird one-way street where, like, the Wisp Arcana is a perfect example. That is a very not popular hero, and I remember overhearing a couple of Valve employees talking about how much they didn't want Wisp to win the Arcana because the hero is such a low percentage played of the games that even though it sounds really hype and it's a funny meme and it's cool for pro games, it's actually not really a big seller or that hype for their market at large, because like, you're much better off making a Drow Ranger Arcana because she's one of the most popular heroes in the game at all skill levels. Wisp is only popular in like a fraction of the skill brackets. Outside of that, he's just awful and people can't use him in any feeds. So
what's interesting is that it's used in 25% of Wisp games.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? They made it this thing for anyone who even thinks about playing Wisp. This is one time only, and it's really cool, and it's an amazing IP crossover with a beloved IP. So they set it up for all of these psychological hoops for people to go, okay, if I can truly never get this again, I'm going to regret it. This one's worth buying.
Yep,
but
got me for sure.
I think that's a limited stock, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily want to do that with every single one. And it also does become a function of diminishing returns, because there are definitely people that are not able to pull the trigger that would buy it down the road. And I'm sure you could look at some data analysis that indicates, like, yeah, you get a huge spike up front, but just putting it for sale forever will end up netting you more money in the long run. So I don't know, buddy. I agree with you, though. Knowing that you might be able to just buy it later is sort of like, I'll roll the dice that some people are going to sell that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on the potential of maybe they will just be exclusive and I'll never be able to have Wind Ranger. But unless it's unbelievable, I don't think I'm leveling up.
Did we talk about the AM persona in the last podcast? I forget exactly when that came out. It feels like ancient history now, but it wasn't really that long ago.
No, I think we talked about it.
Did you like it? I forget what your take was. Were you pretty happy? Do you feel like
I thought it looked good?
Do you feel like this is one where they should have made an exception to be able to use other weapons? Because they are pretty basic weapons.
The main complaints were very annoying and stupid because a lot of people just got mad about how it looked on the dashboard, but if you just opened up in client, it looks completely different. I think its initial client was just missing a few things, and then they tweaked it a little with like particles and stuff, and now I think it's a nice persona.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I know people are a little upset that there's no cosmetics, and I agree that it would have been kind of cool to add like spell stuff too, like make the spells a little bit different from AM, even if she's supposed to be his disciple. You compare it to like Kid Invoker. Like Kid Invoker got a little special forge spirit and stuff, so could have been kind of neat to have different animations on the Mana Void and everything.
That's probably a fair criticism. I think that's one that, you know, could say, all right, compared to the other personas. I have mixed feelings about the weapon thing, because in some ways it doesn't hold true to personas, but in other ways, knowing that you can't put weapons on it and that people have spent serious money on like golden bashers and other really cool rare collectibles,
especially the ones because that should just work, right?
It feels shitty.
I get armor, but like weapons, like come on, you can just she can hold them. It doesn't literally just grab them and scale them down a little, and surely you can make that work.
The dialogue about her face and the way she looked and her being too butch or brawn or whatever, that shit was so fucking tiresome and stupid to read.
It was pretty bad.
I stopped reading Reddit for a few days after that. I was just like, all right, guys, I get it. It's not the greatest persona, but what the fuck is losing brain cells here. But
But yeah, no, it's I liked it. It's good. I'm really looking forward to the Pudge one. I'm a
Yeah.
big on the cutesy stuff. It makes me laugh. Maybe it's being a parent. I don't know. But stuffed Pudge looks fucking hilarious.
I also think
And
it's funny because Pudge has so many. He's like lion level. If you have all the Pudge
Yes.
cosmetics, you can make him look so fucked up with stupid particles coming out of every orifice. And now you're gonna have these little tiny baby Pudges. It's such a funny juxtaposition. I appreciate that's one where I feel like I can appreciate not being able to use other cosmetics because it makes it this purist sort of. It completely changes the concept of the hero, and that's cool. Just like Kid Invoker, you don't need the other cosmetics because it's its own thing that shall not be ruined.
yeah, that's true. Actually, he
I,
doesn't really
I'm
need it at
still
all.
stupidly impressed with the Quap Arcana, though. I think that is now by far and large my favorite Arcana in the game. It's really good. Every time I see it in game, I just have this visual feeling of wow, that is really good modeling. It looks impressive. The sound effects are good. The even the animations are cool, like with the way she uses the whip, and as it scales with attack speed, it gets kind of goofy in like a fun way, and it makes the ult look really cool. It makes the ult a lot easier to see, but I don't know. I think that really is a.
I'm trying to think of this one I like more. I don't really think there is. Sonic Wave one's or the Queen of Pain one's pretty insane.
Yeah.
You know what's actually my least favorite Arcana? Okay, Lena doesn't count. All right, first off.
Okay, we'll say yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? No, let's say Lena does count. The Arcana that I would still use the least is actually the Crystal Maiden one. I don't know. I think it's too common, and I think it just changes the way she looks in a way that I don't know isn't as cool to me. I don't like that she's like flying and stuff.
It doesn't really make her cooler. It's like a side grade, whereas most of the other ones feel like an upgrade.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like something different. I don't know.
I also hate the dog, so I am inclined to be biased against it because I hate the visual clutter of a little pet that looks like a courier that isn't. And that's just me being old and cunty. I get it, but still, I really hate that.
I mean, I agree quality-wise that it's better. I just mean in terms of how me playing the hero. Like I play a lot of Crystal Maiden, and I'm just not that into Arcana.
I forgot
That's
there
all.
was a Shaker Arcana. Yeah, Jug is pretty. That would be fun, like a ranking of the Arcanas.
A tier list.
Yeah, the Monkey King's pretty cool. Zeus is pretty badass. I actually agree with you. I used to really like the Techies one, and I also think the Techies one is pretty basic now relative to the others. Like Shadow Fiend is awesome. PA is really cool. Wisp is really cool.
I can't even actually like picture the Techies one. Oh yeah, right.
Rubik is amazing.
The Techies one is pretty bad.
I mean, I think it's cute because I like the piggies, but yeah, it definitely feels like an early Arcana. You know what I mean?
Oh. All right, now I changed my mind. The SF one might be my favorite. That one with the raise counter, that Arcana is so sick.
Oh yeah, no, the Shadow Fiend one is so dope because it's
Yeah,
not
I'm
just
actually a big fan of that
particles.
one.
There's some cosmetics when you look at them and you feel like it has particles just for the sake of particles. The Shadow Fiend one is very flashy, but it's just so fitting for him. Instead of this dark figure, he's this fiery, awesome ember. He looks almost like Ragnaros from World of Warcraft. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
I do. Actually, while we're talking Arcanas, it's kind of perfect because right now we're in the top 8. Top 16, but you can vote on 8 of them right now.
Oh.
Yes. So our current battle, the 4 battles happening in Group A and Group B, are Lion versus Marana. Let's do them one at a time. Which one are you voting for? If you had to choose between those two.
Marana.
Yeah, me too. I already put all my votes on Marana, if I'm being honest. She's getting my 60 votes this patch or this week. Lion, I mean, he's cool and all, but in Arcana, like, what are you gonna Arcana Lion? I feel like Marana, there's like so much shit you can do. She got a mount. She kind of has very similar cosmetics across the whole board. I just want to see you chuck it out, get something insane.
Yep.
Like some skeletal mount or something, and like Light of the Moon. I don't know.
I agree. And
Go
I also
crazy.
I judge it partially by existing cosmetics, and I think you can basically make Lion look like he has an Arcana if you have all of his immortals and shit. So
Yeah.
I'm good with my Lion set.
Next we have Void versus Chaos Knight. Obviously, Void is going to destroy Chaos Knight. I am sorry if any of you are CK players, but he is zero hope.
I want Void anyway. I would
Yeah,
go
me
Void.
too.
I think he's
Void might win this year, guys. Just prepare yourselves. 'Cause he's
conceptually
in the meta.
really cool hero.
Yeah. Sniper versus TA. Neither.
Sniper.
Can I vote no?
Yeah, I would go Sniper only because I play Sniper some and I am not a TA player at all. So
I'd probably pick Sniper only because sometimes you can play support with him, and so maybe I'd play him.
yeah, so Sniper.
Animage over Ricky. AM's probably going to win that one. Not enough low-level Ricky players to like him, and AM's just stupidly
AM,
popular.
Yeah, I'd have to. It'd be a shame to have the Persona and the Arcana, but
yeah,
AM. Yeah.
And yes, as Archie was pointing out, the battle for Void that he had to win was versus Invoker.
Ooh.
And he kind of crushed him. There were so many votes, right? It's
Damn.
Oh wait, sorry, am I looking at the wrong thing? I could have swore that was on Wickham's graphic. Oh wait, no, it was Invoker Storm. That's what I'm thinking of, right? Yeah, Invoker had to beat Storm. It was 50.8 versus 49.2%. 5.7 million votes for Invoker, 5.5 for Storm Spirit. That is insane.
Wow.
That's how close it was. I mean, like, you compare that to people like Drow didn't even get, she got 3 million votes altogether. PL got 2 million votes to beat Bounty Hunter. These are the low hitters. I actually put 60 on Bounty. Damn you, Bounty Hunter. So close, but not really. So yeah. Anyway, so the other half of the bracket we have, it will be Spectre versus Morphling. Judging by previous
100%.
votes, Spectre has a pretty good chance of winning that.
Yeah. I just hate
6 million votes.
Morphling has become my new most hated hero. I think I've been killed by too many Morphling boosters, and he's my new Tinker. Like, I see that hero and just go, oh, here we go.
That's fair.
So, and Spectre's also pretty toxic, but Spectre Arcana, 100%.
And then we have Luna versus Sven. Sven actually surprisingly getting more votes than Luna in the last round. I didn't think Sven would be more popular than her. I'll be curious who wins this. I feel like Luna's going to win. Just by her historic factor, but yeah, I'd be happy if Sven won too.
I could go either way, but I would prefer Luna.
I'd rather Mirana over Luna, so just give me Mirana in the next round instead, you know.
Fair enough. I'm partial to mounted heroes though in general.
Yeah, me too. We have Invoker versus Phantom Lancer. Invoker's gonna crush PL, unlike in actual games.
Yep.
And then this one, buddy, Drow versus Witch Doctor. Our guy. I know.
Oh.
The last true support, I guess Lions. The Lion and Witch Doctor are the only true supports still in across the heroes remaining.
Drow versus Witch. Does Witch Doctor have any chance? He is really popular.
He got more votes last round than Drow did, which
Okay.
is a little shocking.
That's good.
Considering Drow was against Ursa. What happened to Drow, guys? Is she just not cool anymore? She used to be like one of the Dota heroes. Like, fucking all the time.
I think over time, it's like some of it was because she was so prevalent in the marketing. So I think there is even just a subconscious effect of you open up the game, you don't know any of the heroes, you gravitate towards ones you recognize. So you see Morphling, Lina, Drow all the time. That was like the only marketing we had for Dota for years. And now over time, there's more stuff marketing the game. There's more content. She hasn't been like amazing for a while. And I mean, honestly, of all the Dota heroes, I don't think Drow is that fun to play. I would rank her fairly low on my fun to play list. Even if you're just fucking around and unranked, it's like people get on top of you and you suck. You have to buy a BKB. I don't know. It's like, why play Drow when you could play Sven and just get Ags first and be a Sven Bergini, dude? I think that's the mentality of the average pub player these days instead of I want to play the Ranger lady. But I don't know.
Maybe everyone just likes their game winners.
Yeah, maybe I'm just shooting from the hip. But
I think Drow will still win, if I'm being honest. I'd rather she beat Witch Doctor, I think. I mean, that's not true. I want Witch Doctor to get an Arcana, but he does already have a lot of Immortals, as little Nick pointed out.
I forget, with Arcanas, you can mix and match those, or sometimes, not always?
Yeah, some heroes have an Arcana slot, if I'm not mistaken, and then other heroes, it's like Crystal Main, it's the back slot.
Like, isn't Techies, I think the Arcana takes multiple slots.
Yeah, it's like
maybe,
and that's what some of the other new ones do is you can mix and match it.
Okay.
So it's a hero by hero thing.
Damn, that's pretty exciting though. That's a fun finalist list for the Arcana.
Who do you think will win the whole thing right now? Top 16.
I actually kind of think Void. I don't
think
have the
Void.
bracket open in front of me, so I'd have to look at it. But
Void would have to beat CK, then he'd have to beat either Mirana or Lion. He'll definitely beat Mirana. And then he'll play either probably Animage. That'll be his toughest one.
Could you imagine Void versus Anti-Mage in the final showdown? Carry versus Carry for the Arcana vote?
Well,
That's
that'll
pretty
just be
hype.
their half of the bracket. And then more than
Oh.
likely, the winner's going to have to face either Invoker or Spectre.
Damn.
Invoker versus Spectre. I feel like Spectre wins that because more people play Spectre than Invoker.
I would agree. I think so too. Spectre's a lot easier. That's the thing with those really flashy heroes.
I mean, you guys are saying Spectre. Look at Spectre's number, but consider the fact that you had Storm and Invoker with 11.2 million votes between them in a round where they were like two big mid heroes. They were the only two mid heroes, really. So that's 10 million mid heroes that are going to be voting all for Invoker versus Spec. So we'll see. I do think Spec will win simply because it's going to be more people play carry than people that spam Invoker.
I think especially if Void is doing well in the meta, if we see this like Ags build continue to pop off and he becomes just a popular pub pick again. Because let's face it, ever since Void's Ags got gutted, like the 3 Void has been dead, he's felt a little off. He hasn't quite, we're starting to see this resurgence, and that ultra long cooldown on the ult still feels a little punishing. He is still a really cool hero that I think is just, he's so prime for an Arcana. He's the time master.
I think he's going to win personally.
Dope lore.
I think it'll be him versus Spectre in the end, and I think more people will vote for Void over Spectre.
Yeah. Well, and he's
That's
just
my guess.
Trent, he's the coolest mental hero. It's the confirmation bias thing. People remember the games they won with Void where they hit that sick 5-hero chrono and cleaved them all down with Battle Fury.
That's how I feel about Invoker, too.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Enigma. I meant to say. I don't know why I said Invoker.
So I think that is a part of, like, you don't have to be a Void spammer to have that kind of memory. Even maybe you just supported a Void that did that. And you're like, I helped him get to critical mass, and then we won the game with a 5-hero chrono combo. It's like, that's the kind of shit you remember, and that gets you hype around Void.
Hey, you know what I did last year? I knew that Void was going to be really good after his round of buffs, so I bought his best cosmetics because I had a bunch of money from selling TI stuff because you get and so now all my shit has gone way up. Dota investing. I should sell these before he gets nerfed.
That is smart. It just made me wonder, can you bet on the Arcana vote?
Well, I wonder how much my fucking Spectre thing's worth now. Dude, I've been holding Spectre for so long.
Holy
I got that,
shit, dude.
Soul Diffuser. Oh, that thing was $17. It's $45 now. Ooh.
Look at you, Mr. Flip Flop.
Oh, nice.
So Trent, I got a website for you. There's some odds right now. Although this looks old. I don't think these are the active ones, are they? Sven. Yeah, these aren't the matchups. Damn.
Oh, they let you bet on who's gonna win?
Yeah, dude. Would you bet on the Arcana vote?
Yes, I would. I would definitely bet.
It looks like GGBet might actually have odds on it.
Oh, is the Wind Ranger Immortal jacked up now too? Oh shit, it's like 60 Canadian. Guys, I'm rich. That was like $8 that I bought it at.
Simple supply and demand, buddy.
Is our cape still shitty and bugged though? Or can you not even buy the cape? I think the cape's not marketable. Yeah, the bird. Well, that's really funny. Easy Skrilla.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the shoulder bird looks dope.
Let's get a live update on the Crazy and Zoomers before we wrap this thing up.
Last I checked, the Crazy lost game one, I think. Or no, they won game one, right?
Crazy did
they
win
won
game one. And currently in game 2 right now.
What do we have? We have Darkseer.
And apparently it's not looking great. Odds are like 5.4 for the Zoomers right now. Jeez.
They're pretty
Looks like Crazy got the first 2 kills.
They're into the Sammy Boy Clinks, man. Every time I'm watching them, they're picking it.
This is the lifeblood of NA Dota right here. Dude, I think what you said about that regional, like the lower division for Europe and how shitty it is so alarming because what is NA? Like, we're watching the North American rival or Great American Rivalry. That's NA and SA mixed together. So just NA 9 through 16 is non-existent teams.
It would literally be veggies. Like, I'm not kidding. Veggies could make upper bracket if they seriously
I
played.
think so. I mean, like, I think the viewership will be beyond dog shit because it's like not even players that they're going to be like pub stars. It's like, I think Jenkins needs to start a team again.
I think everyone's going to start a team if it actually comes to fruition.
Oh, I hope so.
I don't really know. Have we even had official word on if it's still all happening?
No, we haven't heard jack shit. We really, there's been no announcements at this point. We assume most of the DPC stuff through the end of the year is going to be delayed because it needs to be getting started like less than a month from now if it were to resume at its original schedule. And we still have to figure out how to reconcile the teams that had points for TI-10 when that season got canceled halfway through. You know, the business associates situation, if you will. The, hey, we're technically on the list to qualify, but there were still 2 more majors, so did we qualify? Or our team's not really together anymore? Are we getting punished for that? Or can we cash in those points?
I mean, I've said it before, but I really hope they just give cash per point.
What's the Stanley Nickel to Schrutbuck ratio here? How many points to toonies? That might be the fairest way to do it. Just pay out the points. That is actually a pretty good suggestion, bud. That might be the fairest thing I've heard so far.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up everything. You guys can go watch Crazy versus the Zooms.
Yes, indeed. We're out of here. Going to be casting kind of on and off through Omega League. I think we're up again in a few days, and then, yeah, just living life. Enjoy the summer. The summer house. The cottage is nice. The water is warm.
Yeah,
the beers are cold.
Back and forth, you know.
Whew, it's a tough life out there, bud. All right, gang. You know where to find it now. iTunes, Spotify. We'll get that audio up on the Moonduck YouTube for those of you audio-only listeners out there. Love all y'all. Thank you so much for enjoying our podcast. We'll be back again in 2 weeks, every other Tuesday. That's our cadence. Mark your calendar because we're coming back. See you next time.